The only way a young man can sustain a stature that is consistent with the dimensions of God is when he masters the technology of downloading God. And he said, they that wait upon the Lord, they mount up with wings like the eagles. They begin to run and they don't faint. They walk, they are not weary. Why? Because the everlasting God fainted not, neither is he weary. So when you begin to pray, something begins to happen to your soul. The dimensions of God become your reality. That is the dimension that God wired into man before the fall. The Bible said in Genesis chapter 2 verse 19 that the names that Adam called the animals, that was the name that was. That is because in the chapter of heaven, all the animals before they were created were already named. But there was something about the unfallen man. He could tap into the frequency of heaven and he knows what God did. Even when God slew him and he was asleep and God created the woman, the name God called the woman was woman. The guy woke up and said, you shall be called woman, because you operated as a frequency. But what the fall does is that the fall brings you down from the realm of God. But he said, they that wait upon the Lord, they begin to mount up with wings. They begin to mount up with wings like the eagles. They run, they are not weary. They walk, they don't faint. What happens is that the immortal dimensions of God begins to enter their chambers. That's when a stammerer can come and speak and the night turns red. The stammerer can come and speak and quails fill the land. The stammerer can show up and say, have no respect unto their prayers. If I be a man of God, a land will open and swallow you up, and even God in heaven will obey the voice of a stammerer. Why? Because there's a download. Joshua shows up and he said, let the sun stand upon the mountains of Ajalo, let the moon retain upon the valleys of Gibeon. And he said the sun did not make haste to go down. In the day that God hearkened to the voice of a man, he said that day have never existed and it will never be. Why? Because a man mastered the intelligence of download. You can walk into that place as a vulnerable man. When you show up, the Bible will say, he said Moses wished not that his face shone like the sun, because he had stayed in the presence for long. And the Moses that came out is a God. That guy is no longer a mortal. There is something that happens. His weaknesses are swallowed up because he has stayed in the presence. When he walks among men, he's a God. You can see him, but his tendencies are like the immortal spirits of Zion. Why? The intelligence of download. There is something that happens to you and you can walk through the terrorists and they will drop their guns. They will not know what is going on. It's called download. David said, by the hand of God I ran through a troop. By God I leaped over a wall. That's not a man, that's a downloaded version of God. He has become like the invisible God that is in the spirit, and he taught the same thing to his warriors. The Bible said Adoni the Ezrahite, once upon a time he fell upon the sword and he slew 800 men. That's not a man. He said Eleazar the son of Bodo, he fell upon a spear and he challenged the garrison of an army. That's not a man. He said Ashama the son of Agay, he took one of his sword and he defended the land. That's not a man. It's called a download. Your name can be Kenna. Wait in prayer. A Kenna will come out and he will become like a God among men. That's why he told Moses, behold, I have made you a God unto Pharaoh. It doesn't matter if you are a stammerer. It doesn't matter if you came from a poor background. It doesn't matter whether you are educated or not. How much download do you have in your spirit? They that wait upon the Lord, they mount up. They mount up with wings. They mount up with wings. They mount up with wings like the eagles. As I speak now, the hand of God is coming upon people so that they can mount up. So that they can mount up. I see the wings of the spirit is spreading so that man can mount up. So that man can mount up. The Bible said Philip went to Samaria. Only one man. He didn't need a band of intercessors. He didn't need a band of prophets. There was something. There was a download. There was a download. How much of God do you carry? The Assyrians will overrun us. The sons of the black woman will overrun us unless men of download appear on the mountains. So it says, blow the trumpet in Zion. Sound an alarm upon his holy mountain. So when you go to prayer, your focus is not bread and wine. When I go to pray, I'm searching the spirit, because what I'm looking for is download. If that download is enough, I can walk to my enemy. Israel was in captivity in Egypt for 430 years, but the Bible said that God spoiled the Egyptian. He gave favor to the Israelites and they spoiled the Egyptian. How can a 430-year slave walk to the master and say, give me your gold, give me your jewelry? There's download. There's download. So when you speak with the tongue of an angel. When you show up, it is the fragrance of Christ. The second strategy of prayer that brings men to spiritual growth is what we call spiritual networking. Networking. Do you see this place I'm standing? Friend David Ogueli stood here many years ago. If I can ascend to the spirit and find where he stood, I can operate by the energy that he operated here. Did you not study about John? The Bible said he was in the wilderness until the day of his showing forth. He was not in the wilderness because it's a palatable place to live. John needed to come in the spirit of Elijah. So there is a place he must hide himself. As he stood there, a point came where the man that went to the wilderness is John, but the man coming out is Elijah. The difference is 800 years, but time is no longer a factor, because John entered into an eternity economy, and on the strength of that economy, he can download Elijah into his day. You can download Moses into your day. You can download Enoch into your day. So you go, the sons of the bondwoman arrest you, but by the spirit you enter where Enoch stood, and you can command by location. It's a strategy in the spirit realm. Our advantage is mysteries. Mysteries. He said to Daniel, he said, you seal the book. But Paul came. He didn't bother. He said, when he pleased God to reveal Christ in me, I conferred not with flesh and blood. I went to Arabia. Paul entered where Daniel stood with God, and he said, I was brought into the fellowship of the mystery. And the same thing that Daniel saw and sealed the book, Paul came and opened it. He said, I received a grace to make men see. That thing that Daniel locked away, I came to unlock it. It's a place in Zion. Jacob told Reuben, as unstable as water, you shall not prosper. But Moses came, he entered the spirit, and he said, let Reuben live and not die. There's a place we can enter, and we can begin to fight with the strength of many. If Benson Itahosa was able to challenge Islam, you can challenge Islam. All you need to do by spiritual networking, enter the mountains of Zion. In Songs of Solomon chapter 4 verse 4, he said the mantle of many warriors is on the ear of the city of David. You can enter there and wear the garment of David and come down. It's called spiritual networking. Only men of prayer understand. But in the Isle of Patmos, in the last day, weary and depleted, but he said, I was in the spirit. Patmos is not my problem. I will remain in the spirit. And as he was in the spirit, he heard a sound like the voice of a trumpet, and his brothers came from heaven. He wanted to worship the angel, and he said, no, don't worship me. I am like one unto you. Networking. You can enter the spirit realm, and today your name is Adora, but you can connect with Captain Kuman in the spirit, and you begin to operate dimension, and they don't understand. It's a dimension in the spirit. You can connect with Army Sepen McPherson. It's a dimension. You hear a story of Francis of Assisi, and by prayer you can connect with it. Why? You have come to Mount Zion, the city of the living God, to an innumerable company of angels, to the spirit of just men made perfect. This is why I don't pursue men anymore. I know that I can form a family in the spirit. Many years ago, in the place of prayer, the hand of God entered my room, and he carried me out of my body, took me into years backward, and he showed me the life of Pastor Chris Akinobi. And he said, you have this tribe. So I don't pursue men. Anybody you want to find, look for him in the spirit. You will find him there. Prayer. Oh, you don't know the powers of prayer. You don't know the powers of prayer. The third thing that prayer does is called divine administration. People can be persecuted in Afghanistan, pray in Nigeria. Don't bother, pray. The Bible said the prayers of the saints, it ascend to heaven as orders, and they are stored up in golden fires. Then the angels of God mix them with orders. So somebody can be crying in Afghanistan, pray here, pray here. The reason God will appear to the person in Afghanistan is because you are praying. He was not violating the laws of the spirit. Somebody is praying. Did you not read about Paul? He was on his way. The moment he entered Damascus, Jesus showed up. Paul was in Jerusalem. Jesus did not appear. But when he entered Damascus, Jesus showed up. Why? Ananias had secured the borders. So Jesus cannot allow Paul enter Damascus. He showed up, and Paul was struck blind. Jesus appears to a man, and he tells Paul, go into the city, you will be told what to do. Intelligence of prayer is deeper than bread and wine. The next time you pray, look unto the hills, from whence cometh your help. They said they looked unto him, and their faces were radiant, and they were not ashamed. One man can be stronger than an army if you understand the intelligence of networking, if you understand the intelligence of spiritual mapping, if you understand the divine administration of securing territorial integrity by prayer. The fourth thing prayer does is reconfiguration. This is where warriors rise. This is where priests rise. This is where kings rise. This is where merchants rise. Because all of us can start and believe as believers, but when we enter Zion, then they begin to read to you the scroll of your destiny. That's why 5 of us will be praying. But in heaven, you are a prophet. I'm an apostle. He's a businessman. He's a merchant. Only the spirit can reconfiguration take place. That's where warriors are born. It is in Zion that you find Shammah, the son of Agay. It is in Zion that you find Eliezer, the son of Dodo. There's a dimension of you that can slay 800 men. But come to Zion. Come to Zion. Come to Zion. That's where the spirit of just men is made perfect. You don't know your dimension. They can call you Rahab the prostitute. Come to Zion. When you come to Zion, you can become the progenitor of Jesus Christ. They can call you Chinyere, the club dancer. Come to Zion. That's when you will know that you are a priest, and matters of territorial legislation will be committed to you. Men will call you names, but there is a white crystal in heaven. The Bible said he will give you a name that no man know. So they call Peter Simon the reed, but again he said, you are rock, you are rock, you are rock, you are not a reed. You are not a reed, you are rock. They call him Abraham, assume father, but he came to Zion and they say, you are Abraham, the father of kings. Come to Zion. That's when you will realize that you are a feeble, but in the spirit you are a warrior.